Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And yes, there's another. I'll link directly below this video, and I think you're going to find it quite extraordinary. It's a brilliant document. It's written by Jane Duncan, and it's called The Right to Freedom of Expression in South Africa. And it's a lengthy document. It's about 36 pages, but it'll really give you an insight into what's happening. And I'll just read you a little bit of the intro, because if you want to download the doc, you'll get all the info you need. And she says, the South African Broadcasting Corporation, or SABC, on a tight leash and controlled the licensing of other broadcasters to ensure the SABC dominated the airwaves relatively unchallenged. The ANC regime also developed and implemented a complex web of censorship laws in an attempt to keep South Africa in the dark about what was happening in their own country. And when these were not enough to contain dissent, used harsh state of emergency regulations. The regime stretched the concept of national security to the point where any opposition could be put down on the basis that it threatened national security. The security cluster became increasingly influential under the P.W. Botha regime from the late 1970s to the late 1980s, which elevated the State Security Council to a level where it became the main policy-making instrument on security matters, and even overrode politicians and key decision affecting the direction of the country. Staffed by high-ranking military personnel and using the total strategy doctrine, it ensured that all levels of the state responded to an integrated fashion to rising opposition against apartheid and capitalism, both internally and externally. In recognition of the need to break with this censorious past, democratic South Africa made freedom of expression a fundamental right in the South African Constitution to ensure that such abuses would not occur again. Parliamentary supremacy was replaced by constitutional supremacy, and many of the Apartheid-era censorship laws were repealed or amended to bring them in line with the new constitutional guarantee of freedom of expression. The SABC was transformed from a state broadcaster into a public broadcaster with a legislated mandate to serve the universal interest and not just a sectional interest. A new independent regulator for broadcasting was also set up, which liberalized the airwaves and presided over the creation of a whole new tier of broadcasting, community broadcasting. Freedom of expression, friendly policies were developed through consultative processes. There are no small achievements for a democracy that is 20 years young. Yet there are signs of trouble too, with respect to freedom of expression. At the onset of democracy, International Press Freedom Organization Reporters Without Borders ranked South Africa 26th in the world in 2002, but since then it has dropped to 42nd in the world overall. Several non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, inside the country have also raised concerns about the extent of media freedom specifically and freedom of expression more generally, although to different extents. This paper analyzes the state of freedom of expression in South Africa 20 years into democracy. So this paper is about 5 years old. It reviews the legal and policy framework underpinning the right and then uses a rights-based analysis to identify fault lines in its conceptualization and implementation. It adopts a broad approach to freedom of expression as covering media freedom, including internet freedom, as well as other forms of expressive conduct. It analyzes the right as both a negative as well as a positive right. That is, the extent of freedom from censorship and other forms of official restraint, as well as the extent to which government and other power holders contribute to ensuring access to the means of communication. So what we're talking about here, guys, is something that actually works really well and, hand in hand with what Trump said earlier yesterday about, the way the left-wing internet social media are restricting and censoring points of view. But look, I'm going to just put the link down below. Please read the document. If you've got something you want to comment about it, put it in the comments. Let's have a discussion. And don't forget, 9 a.m. this morning, Saturday morning, Johannesburg time, we go live and we're covering an extraordinary cultural Afrikaans or Boer event with everything related to it being based on the Boer culture. All right, guys, subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for updates, and have a great day. Bye for now.